Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new treasure map that will be coming to global on the 9th of July, and that goes to the 13th of July, and taking a look at my personal teams and some substitutes for you guys to take on this particular event in the new world, sort of as fast as possible. So as you guys know, treasure map can be a very grindy event, and it can be very gruesome in terms of farming limit break materials and trying to rank. So the way I like to play treasure map nowadays is just to try and beat the mini bosses as quickly as possible, and then have all your high point boosted in the final fight against Luffy and Ace for this particular treasure map and for the invasion. But before we hop into the teams, let's take a look at what the unit actually does. So with their limit break key, they actually get hunger, so I would recommend limit break keying this character. The big downside of this character is the name is Luffy and Ace. So that means that you can't use it with them with the new verse Ace. Obviously, Luffy already has a lot of representation, so it is a little bit of a kick in the dick there. But they just have stats as their support as well, which is a bit of a missed opportunity, I feel. As if you gave this character like a busted support, you could probably find use for him on teams that don't stereotypically use Luffy and Ace. Could have given like a free spirit or shooter support for like color affinity or something like that. But look, it is what it is. So their special is going to reduce Crew's bind and despair by 4 turns. Pretty nice. Changes character's slot to its own type, doubles Crew's attack for 1 turn, and then boosts the type effects of normal attacks for free spirit and shooters by 1.75 for 1 turn. So they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They double attack, and then they boost the type effects as well for free spirit and shooters. They have a little bit of utility, and because they're a Luffy character, then you can use something like Rayleigh. That way you can sort of extend it to 6 turns, and obviously Luffy has a lot of very good supports. Ace has access to WhiteBeard as well, which is really, really nice, so you can get like 7 turns of despair. And that way you can sort of use this character in many different ways. But nevertheless, they're a very strong character. They've got a very good special. Their captain ability boosts free spirit and shooters by 4 times when slots match, 3 times otherwise. HP by 1.2 and reduces damage by 10%. So very similar to the original Luffy Ace dual unit, but they're just sort of like a better flat rate all the time. You're not really going to be using them too much as a captain, but it's nice that they're okay. Their crewmate abilities boost free spirit and shooter characters by 50, and they also do something with deck slots, but for some reason when I clicked on that, it just kicked me out. But now my game is going super laggy. Thanks so much for that. Crewmate ability makes free spirit and shooters characters' deck slots have matching slot effects. So that's a really, really good sailor ability, and they probably will see some play as a sailor. So that's the Luffy and Ace character. Let's take a look at this actual treasure map. So the bazaar's updated. You can now get Komurasaki. Unfortunately, you can't pick up Queen though. That's a bit of a yikes. There is going to be boosted characters like always, and ideally you want to be in the new world. So in the new world, these are the teams we're looking at. So the first fight, we come up against Buggy. Now this fight is stereotypically very easy. They recommend using the free-to-play Straw Hats. The enemy puts up 1.3 times attack for himself, so Buggy gives himself 1.3 extra attack. He binds the top row for 3 turns, so with sockets you can literally just get rid of that, and then has delay immunity. So shout out to CHOO. I have seen him use this strat quite a bit, and I'm going to be adopting that. So big shout out to CHOO. We are just running Buggy as our captain, and that's just going to like dupe any drops, and that way we can actually run the treasure map Kid. So treasure map Kid's special is just going to do end of turn damage, blitz through the first 4 stages, and once we get to the end, we're just going to pop some specials. We can pop WhiteBeard special first, get a HP cut, then we can use the HP cut or the blowaway effect from Akainu and Fuji, and then we have Enel to just do end of turn damage as well. So with all these specials, we should just be able to like clear this stage easy peasy. If not, I might do some adjusting there, but the big idea here is just to sort of get some extra limit break materials, extra tablets, extra, you name it, whatever drops, Buggy's going to dupe it, right? On to the next fight now, we come up against Croc. Against Croc, the recommended characters are that bloody Jozu, who I just cannot pull. Sorry, I am a little bit salty after today's summon, so check out that video. It was just, I have no words for that video. Like, it was just wild. And the free-to-play Weevil. So hopefully you farmed up that free-to-play Weevil. On stage 5, we are going to get a full board of T&D slots. We get 5 turns of attack down by 90%, and there's delay immunity. On death, he does 30,000 damage, so you do want to try and bring someone that can tank that. So we are running Weevil as our captain. Weevil's actually pretty solid as a captain. 3.25 to strength units, 2.75 to dex and quick, and then HP by 1.2 for strength, dex, and quick. So not a terrible unit. His special ability is going to give us cooldowns. He changes block and unfavorable slots to Crew's own type. For 1 turn, we'll double the slot effects as well. So he's our orb booster for this team. Nothing else much to say besides that he's the captain as well. We've also got Luffy on this particular team. I just couldn't find a swap for Luffy on this treasure map. He doesn't really do too much besides give our top row and bottom row orbs, as well as boost the chain multiplier. With the support of Hiyu, Grandpa Hiyu, we can actually remove 2 turns of attack down as well. That's not overly essential. You can easily replace this Luffy with someone that does attack down removal, but for this team, that is going to work for me. We do have Komurasaki here. She's going to remove the other 4 turns of attack down. You can use her special twice. She does have double special activation, and she actually also gives damage reduction as well. So, ideally, like, you don't want to really be using her special on the final turn. You only get 70%, but 70% should be enough to tank that 30,000, as well as removing 4 turns of attack down, which is really, really nice. We've got Big Mom on this team. Big Mom has double special, and she has special charge, so she starts with her special, which is great. I actually haven't maxed her out, but I don't think it matters. She gives like 4 turns at the start of the quest. She's boosted, so she should have her special ready to go, even at like level 10. But she gets double special activation, so she gets her special back, and that way you can just blow through stage 3 and 4 utilizing her special, as she does just a butt ton of damage. The downside is that we are going to be losing a lot of our HP on this particular team, so just be mindful of that. I might need to swap her with Zoro from one of the other teams, but she's basically just here. You know what? That's probably smarter. I might actually do that now. We're actually going to put Big Mom on this team. Let's just quickly do this. We'll put Big Mom on this team with any support. That's fine. And then we'll actually bring Zoro over to this team. Zoro has color affinity over here. Why can't I use Zoro? Oh, because I was using the support Zoro. Okay, well, we're going to have to remove that. Zoro actually has color affinity over here, so it sort of just makes sense to use him over here. He's got a very good wave clear mechanic as well with his double special activation as well. Nothing else really much to say about that. The final unit on this particular team is Mihawk. Now, there is no defense down removal, so we can actually get set the defense to 0, as well as getting the conditional boost against that as well. So I don't actually know if we will get that, because you do need to, well, you need to get 12 or more strength, dex, and quick orb. So hopefully we can get that along the way, and that way we can get the conditional boost. If we can't, we will just take him off. He was just a 1.35 times booster. You can easily replace him with someone else that sort of like rotates orbs. Something else I want to do with this particular team is run the Oro Jackson. That way, once we get to the final stage, we've got a full board of orbs with the T&D slots. We've got the supports of Vivi for color affinity to our free spirit units, and then we've got the support of Shiki to give our driven characters a 1.3 times attack. Basically, just so that way that our what's his name? Our oh my god, the Weevil does a lot more damage. But other than that, we are running a lot of supports. But like I said, you can easily replace that Luffy with someone that is going to give you attack down. I've just got him here because he's a high point booster. He has color affinity, and that Mihawk is completely replaceable with another unit as well. Maybe someone that actually gives you an attack boost would be a pretty good option as well. On to the next fight against Jinbe now. Against Jinbe, or Jinbel, Queen, King, and Hannibal are recommended. Queen is going to give us a full board of empty slots. He has delay immunity on the final stage, as well as 5 turns of damage reduction and resilience. Jinbe, not Queen, sorry. So our captain is going to be Queen. Queen's just going to remove the damage reduction and just do a butt ton of damage, maxing at 10 million depending on how much damage you've received throughout the run. But with this particular team, I do plan on using a friend V1 Kaido. Kaido does end of turn damage, and that way you can just single tap your way through all of the stages until stage 5. When we get to stage 5, we can use Queen Special to remove the damage reduction, and with the support of Smoker, we can actually get an attack boost for our quick units, which this whole team is, as Queen's captain ability is like a 3.75 times attack boost to quick characters, and then obviously if you take damage, you can get special charge, but the idea is to run this fast, so we're not going to worry about that too much. Hannibal, again, another recommended character, changes empty orbs, which is the big reason he's here. He does progressive damage to poison, so if you can find a poison of like a poison character that I couldn't find one, but there is the option there for you guys to poison, and that way you can get through the resilience. He can't be KO'd if you're over a certain amount of HP as well, so you can get a conditional boost, you can't die, and then you can use the Queen Special after that, I guess, but look, he's just basically here for the orb manipulation. I have the Pirate Rumble Lucy on this team. He's going to be the orb booster for this team. That's basically it with this guy. He does a 10% HP cut as well. So I guess you could like burst them down and then use his special later if you have enough damage. But another way to get around the resilience is actually to bring Bone Kichi Brook. So this Bone Kichi Brook's another option. I think he's a 1.2 times booster. I think. It's not telling me, but whatever. His special does end of turn damage for 3 turns, and then he's a conditional booster against defense down. So that's another option for you guys. You want to make sure you use his special before the Hannibal special, though. So if you're looking for another option to get around resilience, there's that. But I just recommend bringing a Kaido. That way you can just blitz through it nice and quickly. Finally, I've just got Sengoku on this team. He's just here as a placeholder. He doesn't really do too much for this team, besides, like, remove the resilience. So, like, there's that option for you guys, too. I do have the Akainu support for a chain lock as well, but he's literally just here because he's a 1.35 times boost point booster. There's really no other reason he's here. You could probably swap him out for, like, an attack booster or something like that. If you're missing the smoker support, you could definitely do something like that. Same with the Buggy. The Buggy's just another placeholder here. He's a 1.35 times booster, and he's boosted by Queen. He's not boosted by Kaido, but he'll do the job. Like, I don't see him having too many issues. But that's the Jinbe team. Like I said, V1 Kaido is just going to help us blitz through it, make it very, very easy. And then we're going to move on to the final mini-boss fight against WhiteBeard. So, I need to change this ship as well. I always forget to change my ships when it comes to treasure map. That's a big problem I have. You just want to try and have cooldowns, and obviously, like, the Sharks of Perp is really good too. On to WhiteBeard now. He's the final mini-boss. He is going to... the recommend characters are 6+ Mihawk as well as Kawamatsu, the new arena. He's going to give us a full board of block slots, 3 turns of paralysis. He has delay immunity, and then he has a 3-turn tap timing barrier for 4 perfect hits. So, obviously, we are using Mihawk as our captain, and we're running a generic slasher team. His special gives us an orb boost, and then will give us the carryover orb boost. He does a HP cut as well, which is pretty nice. And he's a 1.35 times booster. We've just got Kinemon on this team. Kinemon's literally just here for cooldowns. Like, that's really about it. We have Kawamatsu. He's going to remove the paralysis, as well as give us orb manipulation as well for empty block and bomb orbs, as the... WhiteBeard gives us block slots on the final stage as well as paralysis. So, as long as you have that Kawamatsu, you're going to be okay. We've got Gukimaru on this team too. He's another option for paralysis removal. He doesn't change slots to, like, block slots. We're really not even going to be using his special. He's just here because he's a deck slasher. That's really it. You could, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we could actually put Super Type Zoro here. I'm actually going to do that because Super Type Zoro is just a way stronger unit than Gukimaru, but Gukimaru is another option for you guys if you're looking for paralysis removal. Finally, we've got Big Mom. You guys saw me move Big Mom over here earlier. Big Mom's just here because of her wave clearing mechanics. She's just going to do damage and just clear stage 3 and 4 for us. Stage 3 and 4 are stereotypically like the longest stages because there's like 4 and 5 mob enemies. And especially with a chain boosting team, you really want to have a character that can just sort of board wipe those. And like I said, with all of these mini bosses, we do have a way of just stage wiping those. So we have the treasure map Zoro here. We have Kid on this particular team. We have the friend Captain Kaido. And I just find that's just the easiest way to do treasure map. It sort of takes away all of the thinking aspect of it because you can easily just do like tap, tap, tap for the first 2 stages. There's only like 2 to 3 enemies, and then use your wave clearers to sort of get around that. Zoro is another really good option for wave clearing as well. That's another reason why I actually decided to put him here too. He just does a bunch of damage. He's an orb booster too, but with Mihawk being an orb booster, we don't have to worry about that too much. He has charge special as well, so he's going to give himself special charge at the start of the fight, and that way I can use his special to sort of blitz through some of those earlier stages as well. So that's the Mihawk team. As long as you're running all slashes and you just want to try and include some dex units, as WhiteBeard is a quick unit, you guys should be fine there. Moving on to the big teams now. So against the final boss, we come up against Luffy and Ace. And I gotta say, like, I really love this Luffy Ace artwork. I'm actually really excited for this treasure map character. Against Luffy and Ace, obviously the 3 treasure map boosters are boosted and versus Akainu. So on stage 4, there is going to be a preventive for special bind removal and 5 turns of setting the chain multiplier to 1.1 as well as block slots. Now, if you guys don't have Garp, it's going to be a little bit tricky to get around these sort of effects. But the way that I've done it on this team is I do have Jinbe. Now, Jinbe is pretty much the only powerhouse-driven unit that removes Special Blind. I think there's one other, but they're all 1.1 times boosters. So, look, unfortunately, it is what it is when it comes to that. There's literally no other Special Blind remover. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you could probably use a character that's not boosted. But Jinbe, for me, is pretty much the only character that I could sort of find that removes Special Bind. If we go boosted effects here... I love this search mechanic, by the way, guys. Make sure you guys are using this. It helps out a lot. So, for special binds, like, these are the characters that can remove special bind. And we need 5 turns of special binds. And as you can see, there's really not that many options besides this Luffy here. I guess we could probably put the Luffy on this particular team, as he's really not doing too much on the other team, and that way we can get some more points. But obviously we are going to lose damage with that particular Luffy unit not doing too much. But like I said at the beginning, you want most of your points sort of around this particular fight. But if we are going to put Luffy on that team, then we are going to need attack down removal on this particular team. And for that, you could easily chuck on Gukimaru. You could use the treasure map Luffy. I'm going to use this this Usopp just because he has color affinity as well. Plus, he's a free spirit unit, so that actually just works really, really nicely. Another option you guys can do if you do have this Usopp for this particular team too is you can actually use the Arena Frankie. That's another way to remove all of the attack down as well. But with Komurasaki giving damage reduction, she works nicely too. So I think, I think I'll just chuck that Luffy on here just because. And then the way to get around the chain coefficient reduction is I actually am using Queen. So this Queen can remove 6 turns of chain growth and chain lock multiplier, and for 3 turns he does an attack boost to quick characters as well. So 2.25 times quick attack boost is actually really, really good. And with that we can get around stage 4 quite nicely. Once we do get to stage 5, however, we are going to get 5 turns of a 3000 burn, 3 turns of chain coefficient reduction, as well as having to lay immunity, and then the enemy has a 12 hit barrier. So this is where the Kizaru and the Oniguma are really good. Oniguma can remove the barrier by hitting 12 times, but you can easily replace him with another powerhouse driven unit. Literally, it doesn't matter too much because with Queen you have to get 12 hits before you actually get the damage output anyway. But utilizing Kizaru on this team, he's going to be an attack booster, 2.25, but we have the Queen attack boost anyway. He actually removes burn though, so the idea that I am sort of looking at doing, I'm actually going to save his special for the revive, as Luffy and Ace do have a revive mechanic. They come back with 25% of their HP, so I'm going to be looking at using this special after, so I get the attack boost then. The burn shouldn't matter too much, but he does a 15% HP cut, so I think like to start with, like I'm probably not even going to use his special in the early stages, and then once I'm going to need it, I'm going to use it later. So you can just replace this guy with anyone that does burn reduction. That is going to be a good shout, as long as they are a driven powerhouse unit. You guys are going to be in good stead to sort of get around what is going on there. To get around those nasty effects. Just remember that there is a revive mechanic, so maybe using something like Kamizo would be a good option. You do have that free-to-play Sanji, who is also boosted as well. But this Kamizo would just be a great sort of substitute. He removes 4 turns of burn. So with that, you should be able to get around all the effects. I think it was, is it 5 turns of burn or is it 4 turns of burn? Oh, it's 5 turns of burn, but it's only 3,000 burn, so like you guys should be fine there. I don't imagine that you'll have any issues with the burn. It's only 3,000. Just hit your grades. You have a chain lock with Akainu. Now, if you guys don't have versus Akainu, I'd highly recommend bringing a friend. I'm going to be running Kizaru as a friend captain, but Akainu is just basically built for this. His special does a full board of orb manipulation. He gives us orbs, and he does a 2-turn chain lock, so you're ready for the revive as well. That way you don't even have to worry about the chain coefficient reduction, and you get an orb boost. King is going to be your attack booster, and then with the combination of King and removing special bind with Luffy, we're going to be good to go there. Like I said, there's not many other options for special bind removal. You can use that Jinbe. He is pretty much the only other booster if you are missing Luffy. And Oniguma, you just replace Oniguma with whoever you like. Like, Oniguma is literally just here because he's such a high point boost. But to get around like barriers, I think like doesn't Jack remove barriers or something like that? I mean, Jack just does a whole bunch of damage. You do have him as an option. Who else is there? You could use Kaido as your captain if you're missing versus Akainu. And look, there's not really that many other options. The barrier is what it is. Akainu does have barrier pen as well, so like if you're running a good friend captain or you have your own and you have barrier pen, you're going to be in good stead. So the final boss is like the last stage is not that tricky. It's more stage 4 that has the big issues for. But this team has a lot of points. It's going to work really, really well. But if you have Garp, obviously you can slide Garp in instead of Luffy. Onto the invasion now. So against the invasion, we come up against Ivankov. Now, Ivankov. My Aussie accent kicks in when I say Ivankov. It sounds like I'm saying Ivankov, even though it's Ivankov. You guys get what I'm saying. So against Ivankov, we are looking at using Ace, Garp, Kizaru, and Oniguma again. The preemptive gives strength and quick characters 10 turns of special charge. So you do want to build a predominantly strength and quick based team. That way you don't have to worry about stalling. On stage 2, we get remove sound effects, 5 turns of despair, and 5 turns of threshold. So that remove sound effects is probably going to give like people a bit of a headache. And that's where Oniguma is actually really, really good. But ideally, you just want someone that can remove despair. That's obviously a free spirit and shooter unit. So if we head over to our search feature here, we can have a look at despair removers. You have this Lucy here. He can remove 2 turns of despair, as it is only 5 turns. So like it does go down to 3 with sorry, it only goes down to 2 with sockets. So you can easily use this Lucy, and he can be an orb booster for you guys as well for stage 4, and then he becomes an attack booster on the next stage. So that is a really, really good free-to-play option to get around the despair, provided you do have max sockets. Other than that, Oniguma is great because he can remove remove sound effects. But if you guys are running like an ace captain, you have the Shark Superb. Shark Superb is going to make it easy to hit perfects, or you could even run the Oro Jackson. The Oro Jackson is another option to make it very easy to hit perfects as well. So there's that. The Ace is our captain. He's an absolute weapon. 5 times captain to free spirit and shooters. So make sure that you guys are running free spirit and shooter units. Oniguma is actually not boosted on this team. He's a powerhouse slasher. So it's kind of weird that they did that. But I guess like I could have made him like driven free spirit. I don't know. I think that probably clashes actually now that I'm thinking about it. But Oniguma is not actually getting boosted on this particular team, but he's such a high point booster that I basically have to have him here. So he gets around stage 4, but as I mentioned, you can use the free-to-play Lucy. That's another option, but there is a threshold. Now, threshold's easy way to get around threshold is using this Kuzan. He has 5 turns of threshold. He also gives us an attack boost, but if you guys did not summon on the Ace Akainu banner and you are looking for some other options, you just head over to your good old search bar here, hit the threshold, and then you have a bunch of options here. Now, Buggy is really your only option. He removes 5 turns, but he's probably more exclusive than the Kuzan is. So you may have to sort of dip out into some other colors, and ideally you want it to be strength. So this Morley's a really good option. He can remove resilience in 5 turns of threshold. He's also a great option to remove resilience as well on the mini boss stage against Croc, I think it was. But he's a really good shout here because he can remove 5 turns of threshold. He's also a free spirit unit, and he's strength, so he gets his cooldowns as well. He does set the defense to 0 as well, which I think you can actually get off because there is no defense immunity. So that's another option for you guys to do more damage. On stage 5, though, when we come up against Ivankov, he has 5 turns of blowing away the bottom right unit. So that's why I've actually put Oniguma there, because he's not getting boosted. He's just going to get blown away, so it's cool. The special reverse by 2 turns, 5 turns of paralysis, and he has delay immunity. So obviously with Ace as our captain, he removes special reverse by 10 turns, which works great. He makes strength decks and quick characters have matching slot effects with strength decks and quick. Sorry, free spirit shooters, strength decks and quick. You guys know what I mean. 5 times attack, 1.3 times HP, an amazing special that gives an orb boost. He has the verse ability, which can do conditional boosting damage as well. So ideally, I would bring a friend versus Ace if you can. Otherwise, you want to look at a way of getting around special reverse by 2 turns. A way to do that is with Weevil. If you're not using him on another team, he can give you special charge. But the big thing that you need to get around when it comes to this last stage is the 5 turns of paralysis. So ideally, put a character in the bottom right that uses the special on stage 4. That way, you don't have to worry about it. For paralysis, I do have Luffy. This Luffy is going to remove paralysis by 5 turns, and he does special bind as well. But if you guys are missing this Luffy, once again, head over to the search feature, and let's have a look at some options that you guys can bring to remove the paralysis. So options that you guys can bring is Kawamatsu. Unfortunately, he's really, really good for another fight. So other than that, we've really only got the Kizaru. So Kawamatsu is pretty much your only option. If you guys are missing that Luffy, you're going to have to slide him in over on this team and then find some other options for the mini-bosses. Now, as I mentioned, the mini-boss fights, you don't have to worry about getting too many points there. You want your main point boosters to be against Ivankov and Luffy and Ace. So make sure you are prioritizing these teams first and then work on your mini-boss stages. If you have mini-boss fights where you don't have boosted units, don't stress. As long as it makes it nice and fast for you, that is the way to go. Finally, we've got Kizaru on this particular team. He's another unit that can remove paralysis. He's also an attack booster as well. So, like, Luffy, I don't even need Luffy on this team. He's just a nice 1.35 times booster. He has color affinity, so I figured, it'd be silly not to put him here. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. All in all, this treasure map doesn't seem overly hard. Like I said, for these 4 mini boss fights, just try and bring fast units. If you can slide on some point boosters, awesome. But look, if you can't build high point based teams for the final stages, you're gonna be in for a bad time. So Kawamatsu actually on this particular team is actually very replaceable with Gukimaru if you have that Gukimaru unit. Otherwise, like I said, on these 4 teams, don't be afraid to use non-boosted units, because ideally these are the fights that you just want to sort of tear through very, very quickly. So they were my teams, guys. There were some replacements for you guys as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. And if you want to support your boy even more, big shout out to my boy Krooby, has made some emotes for members, as well as some badges as well. So if you do want to help your boy out a little bit more, hit that juicy join button and becoming part of the Spoon Pirates today. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lights!